Alright, next we're going to update the records file that we have in our program. So every week or so during the summer, I will be sending out an updated records file once the records get verified by the league president. And then you will import that file into your copy of the MEET database so that you can then have those updated records on hand. This is also useful if you want to keep up with your own team records as well. So to get there, we have two options to get to the records menu. One is that we could actually pick events, and then on the events there's a records menu all the way over towards the right, or we can go directly there by clicking this little award symbol right there. That brings up this screen, which has 66 events, because that's what we have in the RSL. And you can see that I already have the old copy of the records file on board. This does not have any records that got broken at finals last year. So I want to do a couple things, and these instructions are of course in the book for how to handle that in the instruction manual. So the first thing I need to do is I need to delete the old record. Many of you will find this out the hard way, that if you, usually the way it's set up, if you hit the X to delete it, it's going to say that, oh, I can't do that yet, because there's a checkbox up at the top we need to have unselected. So we unselect that, and then we go back down and delete our old record file. And then it's giving us instructions on just, hey, how do you set up a record if you don't already have one. But we do have them, and we're going to import them. So we click on the Import tab and navigate to where the records are. I happen to have this all in my RSL directory. And my records directory. Now, since I am in a meters pool, I will select the meters record. So this is going to be RSL meters and ends in a -S for short course meters. This will show me what it is that I've imported. And now the new records show up. So as you can see down here, we have the records, and here's the record. Right now there's no flag for the record, and so one thing we might want to do is put a flag, like some kind of symbol that gets put on the scores whenever it's a record breaker. So in that case I'm hitting asterisk. So the other thing that you can do, you could actually do this import and import your team records in here. But if you do your team records, you only want your own team to break those records. So that's where this column here called Team Only would come into play. Assume this said College Heights records instead of RSL records. We could click right here if we had more than if we had any teams in, and that would allow us to select which team was allowed to break the record. If we go through our manual, we can see that it gets the same instructions we just walked through. And then that brings us up to where we actually have to import entries for our team.